Now, let's talk about our old mate, Dr Fauci. Now, this bloke, uphill and down dale, and the documentary, the book, all the rest of it, right? No gain of function. We didn't send any money over to Wuhan for gain of function, except guess what? They sent money to Wuhan for gain of function. The NIH, that's part of his purview, well, they made this admission. Of course, they didn't do it via press release, but Sharri, late last week, the documents started to be handed back to the Senate to make sure that they could save him from being accused of lying to the Senate. But either way, he said they didn't. The document said they did. That means he lied to the Senate.
Exactly. For Paul, for months and months, even you and I have been speaking about this topic on your show, not to mention the dozens of articles I've written in The Australian on this topic. And yet Fauci was sitting there in Congress. He was in hearings, being interrogated by the likes of Rand Paul, and he was denying that there was gain of function research that was being funded by his agency, NIH or NIAID, that was happening in Wuhan. And Paul, even to you directly in so many media interviews, I felt confident saying that he was lying.
Yep.
And the reason I felt confident saying that was because I'd read the scientific papers. There were 65 projects at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that were funded by American agencies, mostly Fauci's agencies, and many of them were gain-of-function research on coronaviruses. It is there in black and white. So it never made sense that he was sitting there denying it and lying about it. And the US media as a whole, the left love him, so they believed his denials. And it wasn't until finally this admission, this correction of the record by the NIH, everyone can now see that he did mislead Congress. His information was inaccurate. And it's extraordinary when you go back and look at just how strongly Fauci was denying this. He was insisting they weren't funding gain of function. He should never have made those statements. He was wrong the entire time, yet he kept insisting that Rand Paul was wrong, that the rest of us were wrong. It's a disgrace, Paul, that he is still the top coronavirus medical advisor to the president. It is incomprehensible he is still in that position when his funding of the Wuhan lab could have caused this pandemic, and that is not an exaggeration.
Well, also, don't forget, remember, Joe Biden looked down the camera, said it the day before the election, right? It was about 250,000 people had died by election day in 2020. He said 200,000 more will die if Trump gets returned. Well, a further 500,000 have died, doing everything Fauci wanted and all the rest of it. But apart from anything else, the senator who had the balls to follow up on Sharri's reporting and common sense says this about the future of Dr Fauci.
Well, he should be fired. I mean, the thing is,
Dr. Fauci should be fired.
Absolutely.
By the president.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is just for lack of judgment, if nothing else. He's probably never going to admit that he lied. He's going to continue to dissemble and try to work around the truth and massage the truth.